Okay, we'll call this April 9th, 2026 Environmental Commission meeting to order. Um, Roll call. Member Brannon,
Here.
Member Colton, Member Gaudette,
Here.
Member Janetti, Member Lutz, Member Mammy, Alternate Baxi,
Here.
Alternate Tophilia.
Here.
Liz, should I keep going? Councilwoman's not here. Statement of compliance with open public meeting law. The notice requirements of the open public meeting law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the Township Clerk on June 23rd, 2025. This meeting will be recorded and available on Ocean Township's YouTube channel. Okay, welcome everyone. This evening we have a presentation regarding our community energy plan. We have Ben on. Hi, Ben. You're muted now, but when you're ready to unmute and start the presentation, we are ready for you.
Alright, let's do this. I'm ready. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Alright, wonderful. Alright, so, thank you for having me. We have been working on the Township Community Energy Plan. We started working on this a while ago because you issued a community energy plan solicitation for towns to receive a grant under the Community Energy Plan grant sponsored by the GTU. And the township applied, received it, and then once it was received, executed an agreement with the Board of Public Utilities to draft our community energy plan. And I'm going to share a presentation, if that's okay. Let's make sure. Oh, I guess I need permission to share.
We'll click that for you.
Yeah, it says ask the organizer for the name to use presenter.
How you doing, Ben?
Doing great, Fred. See you.
Yep, there we go. Perfect.
Can the volume be turned up?
This volume's up as loud as it can go. Is there anything else you can?
Where's it coming out of? Is it
It
coming out
seems
of?
like it's going up there.
That's very possible. So what we'll do is we'll,
Oh, that's good. Oh.
can you give me a 5 count, please?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off.
Any better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Sorry about
Alright,
that.
does that
Go
sound
for it.
okay?
Sounds good.
Better.
And we switched you to the presenter, so let's see if you can share your screen.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. That should work. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
And you see Welcome to Township of Ocean Community Energy Plan.
Yes. Yes.
We're doing really well so far. All right, everyone's good. Okay. We're ready to get going. All right. So anyway, the community energy plan again was through a grant by the Board of Public Utilities, and it's part of a multi-phase grant. The next phase in the grant is to implement what you put in the community energy plan. Not necessarily everything that you put into it, but there is grant money, $250,000 up to $500,000 for implementing some of the actions that you put in the project, like whether that be electric vehicle related, clean energy related, or perhaps energy efficiency or community outreach. There are a number of different things that you can include in that. But in order to qualify for those funds, you have to first complete the community energy plan. So the township received $10,000 to draft its community energy plan and engage Blue Sky Power to assist in that process. So this is all emanating from New Jersey's Energy Master Plan, which was an effort led through the governor's office for the last 20 years through various governors have implemented an energy master plan and then updated it through subsequent administrations. And the current energy master plan is broken up into 7 primary strategies. So they range from things like helping the town implement solar or becoming more EV friendly or energy efficiency and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So these are the primary strategies that Ocean Township is looking to deploy. Reduce energy consumption and emissions from the transportation sector, accelerate deployment of renewable energy and distributed energy resources, maximize energy efficiency and conservation, as well as reducing peak demand. That means energy demand during the highest peak days in the summer when it's August and 100 degrees and everyone has their air conditioner. How can you keep going? How can you reduce demand on the energy grid during that time? Strategy 4 is reduce energy consumption and emissions from the building sector, meaning like commercial buildings, and how can they reduce their energy consumption. Now, strategy 5, and again, these are the strategies under the New Jersey Energy Master Plan. So the reason there's no strategy 5 is because strategy 5 is solely modernization of the electric grid, which is just an initiative between the utilities and the BPU and the state. So it doesn't really involve municipalities. So it's not actually in the Energy Master Plan strategies. Now, strategy 6 is encouraging and supporting participation by low to moderate income residents, as well as environmental justice communities, meaning those communities that are at greater risk for environmental harm, meaning areas where there is housing near industrial areas or manufacturing or concrete plants, those areas that are subject to greater environmental harm based on their location. Now, strategy 7 is innovation in the energy economy. Things like battery storage or microgrids or district energy systems like the downtown steam loop in Trenton or Atlantic City. So not necessarily as applicable to Ocean Township. So strategies 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are the areas that Ocean Township chose to concentrate on from the state's Energy Master Plan. So now we're going to go through each one of those strategies and highlight the initiatives under each strategy. Now, you don't necessarily have to implement all of the strategies or all of the initiatives under each strategy. So you'll see when we get to some areas, we may not hit all of them. So strategies 1 and 2, which are reducing energy consumption and emissions from the transportation sector, and strategy 2 being advancement of renewable energy, those have the most number of initiatives in them. Strategies 3, 4, and 6 are a little bit shorter. So we'll spend some time on this and number 2, and then it'll go a little bit faster as we get through strategies 3, 4, and 6. So the key initiatives that Ocean Township chose to pursue from the recommended initiatives recommended by Sustainable Jersey and the Board of Public Utilities are adopting a supportive zoning ordinance and regulations for electric vehicle infrastructure, training first responders, meaning police and fire, on EVs and EV infrastructure. Next is training non-emergency staff, meaning DPW staff and code enforcement officials on EVs, meaning how you might train Board of Public Utilities to work, the Department of Public Works, how to operate and maintain any electric vehicles that you have or will have, as well as code officials for inspecting electric vehicle infrastructure for residents and commercial use. Next is purchase alternative fuel vehicles, meaning for the municipal fleet, whether that be code enforcement or DPW trucks or police vehicles. So purchase alternative fuel vehicles. Next is improve municipal fleet efficiency. So even if we're not talking about electric vehicles, we want to improve the fleet efficiency, meaning the vehicles that the township uses, how can they be more fuel efficient? That's through tracking the amount of gas used, the miles driven, the routes taken, and making sure that they're more efficient in their operation. Next is installing public EV charging infrastructure, which the township already has been doing and will continue to do. Then encourage non-municipal fleets to improve efficiency. So if there are commercial fleets within town, you might want to encourage them to improve their efficiency. Next is encouraging workplace EV charging infrastructure. This is just encouraging businesses to make EV charging available to their employees. And after that is community EV outreach. So this is things like having the information available at township events. Something the Environmental Commission can be very involved in is at birthday fairs or other events that the township has to make information available about electric vehicles. And the section 1.10, 1.10 is anti-idling. So anti-idling enforcement, having an ordinance on file that encourages people not to leave vehicles running when they run into a Wawa to get some coffee. Just leave the car warm, but to turn the car off. So it's having signage as well as enforcement. Now, I'll go on to strategy 2, but before I do that, I was thinking in going through strategy 1, I want to make a point very clear in this. And that is, this is a planning document. This is strictly a plan for the township to use and for the township administration, the Environmental Commission, and different departments throughout the town to collaborate on these different areas. These are not absolute requirements that once this is submitted to the BPU, that anyone is holding the township's feet to the fire saying, you said you would do these things, you have to do it. While this is an action plan where we have listed out a time frame to accomplish it in, who the primary stakeholders would be, potential funding sources, the amount of duration that it might take to accomplish some of these, and the initiative lead for each initiative, it is not an absolute requirement that you're going to get penalized if you don't hit a certain initiative in a certain time frame. It is a planning document for the township to work on and start implementing it so that you have a clear path forward towards making the township more energy efficient and in implementing alternative fuel vehicles as well as renewable energy. Any questions on that so far before I go on to strategy 2?
See none.
I think we already implemented point 1. We have an ordinance for EV infrastructure already.
Yeah. So those are noted. If that's already in place, then we've already noted that. So just going to the townships, go specifically to the plan, but we've noted that that's already in place, and it may have been that there was some mention in the plan, which I can pull up, just give me a second, to there may have been some mention in the plan about updating the ordinance or providing other information. Let's see, let me just go to that initiative. Yep, we have it noted that the ordinance is already in place and just to review and update if necessary. So in the full plan document, which I can share as well. And actually it's a good opportunity to show you, even though we're reviewing these in summary format right now, it's a good opportunity to show you what the plan actually looks like. And I think this will be available after getting feedback. If it's not already available, it will be available on the township's website. All right, now I'm going to share the energy plan. this is the township's community energy plan. This reviews what the community energy plan and the grant is, an outline of the larger document, introduction, some information about the township, and then we have data on energy consumption, electricity and gas consumption, greenhouse gas emissions by sector, as well as the priorities listed here. So if you look here, adopt supported zoning regulations, says currently implement. So you are correct that there is one in place. We've just noted that it is currently in place. And then here we get to initiative 1.1, and it's ongoing. That ordinance was passed, number 2389, on June 9, 2022, is in place, and we'll review to make any updates if necessary. So just want to review that with you, that it is in place, and so there may be some things that are already being undertaken, but is being mentioned in some way. All right, let me go now back to the overview. And actually, before we do move on to strategy 2, any other questions now that we're starting to get into it on strategy 1 or any other questions generally about the BPU's community energy plan program or the process the township has gone through?
Seeing none.
Okay, seeing none, we will continue. Press on. All right, so getting back into the strategy. Everyone see strategy 2 up here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Strategy 2 is accelerate deployment of renewable energy and distributed energy resources. So, again, I wanted to talk about how not every single initiative in strategy 1, you saw 1 through 10 being considered by the township. In strategy 2, you'll see not every strategy is being undertaken, and some towns, I will say, Ocean Township did adopt most of the initiative. Some towns may even not pursue a whole strategy area because they may not feel it's applicable to them. So for you here, the initiatives that the township wanted to undertake are, first, adopt supportive zoning and permitting for private solar. 2.3, train first responders on solar. You'll see this is very similar to the flow of the electric vehicle initiatives. 2.4, train non-emergency staff on solar. So like we said before, DPW and code enforcement officials. And 2.5, install on-site municipal renewable generation. This is wanting to pursue solar at municipal facilities. And let me just go to the document again. And I won't necessarily take you back there and have to switch screens back and forth. I just want to confirm for you a little bit of the detail. So in section 2.4, for example, related to solar, it has there's no solar currently installed on municipal facilities, but there's potential to collaborate with school district facilities as well as look at solar for municipal facilities. So there's more detail in the plan, just like there was more detail related to the ordinance. If there's anything you want me to go in greater detail on, we can refer back to the plan from the summary document. So section 2.6, buy renewable energy for municipal facilities. This is referring to the possibility of under your supply contracts, being able to, where you buy electric supply, making a portion of that renewable. Now, section 2.10 through 2.12 is a great opportunity to save residents money on their electric bills through a bill credit that goes on their JCP&L bill for 20 to 30%. So we've helped a number of towns implement this, and it's absolutely amazing. So the state put in effect, some of the big solar arrays that you see on landfills or in other areas, those are subscribed to the state's community solar program. Those owners of those systems can then sell the power from those systems to residents, but they're required to do so at a substantial discount that they submit to the Board of Public Utilities. So it may be 20 or 30% that residents can save by subscribing to community solar program, and those initiatives, 2.10 through 2.12, are municipal-led initiatives to make these programs available to residents. So we have one town that, their population is about 67,000. They had, and actually the population is 67,000, but there are 23,000 households, and approximately 1,200 people signed up for this program, and that's a savings of over $9 million to those residents over 20 years of that community solar program. So huge, huge savings, incredibly one of the most beneficial programs the township has ever offered to residents. And, it can either be completely voluntary, where, that was the incredible thing about it. It's completely voluntary. Residents can sign up if they wish, and it's just the township's making it available to them and creating an education program around it. So great way to go. I'll move on to strategy 3. But before I do that, any questions on strategy 2?
Yes.
Hi. I have a question. So you were saying that solar panels in the school district, it does count for implementation?
Well, as far as like the implementation grant, I mean, there is possibility if the township is collaborating with them, but yes, there is the possibility of collaborating with the school district for solar energy projects, and we've done that with lots of different towns where they have collaborated with, the township has collaborated with a school district, or even, we have one town that did township as well as the regional school district and the K through 8 district for doing a very large solar project. It was almost $20 million worth of solar across 12 different facilities. So there is opportunity to collaborate if the township finds that desirable and the school district would like to collaborate.
But if they already have the solar panels, does that help the municipality at all? Like in terms of?
Well, no. I mean, if the district already has solar, that's of no real benefit to the district. I mean, and again, this is there are no points necessarily available related to this. However, in your sustainable Jersey certification, you want to note all renewable efforts to qualify for the certain levels of sustainable Jersey certification program.
I see.
But yeah, I mean, if the school district currently has solar, that's of no great benefit to the township. It certainly is to the district as well as to the residents who are saving taxpayer dollars by having solar at the school.
Sure. Thank you.
We have another question. Yeah, right there. It's pointed towards the speaker. If you could just, yeah.
Hi, Ben. Thanks for coming. My name's Patty Kronheim. I live in Ocean Township, and I'm the program director at Rethink Energy New Jersey. And I have a question because I don't see anything in this plan about the possibility of creating distributed energy resources for microgrids for the town, for heating and cooling, for resiliency if there are hurricanes or anything like that. I'm very familiar with community solar. I actually advocated it for when I was the LCV. I understand that the people who actually have benefit from community solar are the direct ratepayers who are part of the program, and they're the ones that benefit. And I'm wondering for the entire town, if I've been wanting to see a microgrid program so that we can actually have heating and cooling centers, a place where in emergencies people can plug in their phones, and to have that kind of distributed energy resource in town with on-site renewable generation, in town, not as part of the community solar program, but as part of just the town being able to benefit everyone in town. Is that something that you're including in your plan?
Yeah, happy to microgrid falls under strategy 7. And in reviewing that with the township, we didn't necessarily list that, meaning township didn't decide that that was a priority. Now, given the location of the township, resiliency is incredibly important. I've been working on microgrids for almost 20 years now and done them in different places around the country. And I'm a huge advocate of microgrids for resiliency. But, the economics of creating a microgrid are incredibly challenging. And without a huge centralized load, it's tough to pull off implementing a microgrid. So it certainly can be part of the plan, and that's the township's prerogative to put it in or not put it in. In the initial planning stage of folks working on it, it did not make its way in. But I think you'd have to consider what are the large primary loads that it would serve, because there's, to create a ton of generation, to make a microgrid available to residents, you have to consider, what are those resources, what are the renewable energy resources you're going to put in place to do that. So, you have to have enough solar to make it worth it, and there's not sort of a ton of land to put that, a ton of solar in places in the township. And if you're to do a microgrid, do you want to combine it with, natural gas fired, fossil fuel generation? Do you want to have battery storage? Where are you going to locate it? It's certainly, one of the strategies in strategy 7, which can be incorporated. But I think that's a determination. I want to make sure we say too, we didn't make any determination on any of this. We provided the different initiatives to the township and then reviewed those with township officials, who then said, yes, we'd like to pursue this initiative or that initiative.
Thank you.
So yeah, I can go much further in depth on different areas related to microgrids. I geek out on microgrids, but I think the town just has to decide if they would like to include microgrids in the plan or not.
But Ben, if I can just say, that one of the issues with microgrids, I've been trying to work on it for 10 years, and one of the biggest problems is the actual crossing of the municipal rights of way, where the incumbent utilities do not want that to happen. So, you need campus microgrids, where you're not crossing any rights of way, but as soon as there's one right of way, it's just, that's what blows it out of the water as far as expense, and they won't allow it. So.
I'm speaking of a centrally located, energy independent campus, facility, whether it's in the new town hall or somewhere where people can go if it's really hot, they don't have air conditioning, or if the power goes out, or if they need to plug their phone in, or be able to plug in their oxygen tank, or something like that, that the town has something like that.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, having that level of resiliency is, something the, Office of Emergency Management definitely should be incorporating into their plans. And then, how much that is renewable or, there for resiliency should definitely be included. And actually, in the plan related to distributed energy resources, there's certainly on the on-site municipal renewable generation, if it's possible at the municipality to do solar with battery storage with generator, that's a possibility. And in the planning document, we definitely can make reference to having resiliency available for residents in case of long-term power outage. So thank you for that, Patty. We'll make that note. All right. Any other questions on? Yep. Sorry.
Gas, okay, just saying.
What's that?
I'd opt for battery and solar, not gas. So,
Yeah, the issue there is that, the battery lasts a certain amount of time. It's sort of one of those problems, that we have to solve. Is, one alternative is to include solar with battery storage and a fuel cell. And that hydrogen fuel cell, and that is a more, it's a cleaner option
where, there's little to no emissions. But, I mean, you're talking about a lot of expense, so I mean, the scope of the project really has to be defined. All right, any other questions on strategy 2?
Seeing none.
All right. Okay, moving on to strategy 3. All right, so strategy 3 relates to energy efficiency, and this is a pretty cut and dry one. It's maximizing energy efficiency, conservation, and reducing peak demand, like I mentioned earlier. The first one is just about upgrading energy efficiency for municipal facilities. So in that, we were talking about that this is one of those initiatives that's already being implemented. So the library, recreation services, and other buildings are not part of a current construction, but the township would like to do a new energy audit to be able to see what other energy efficiency measures can be done. So there's currently a whole lot of energy efficiency that has been done in the township, but there's opportunities to continue to do more. And that starts with the BPU's local government energy audit. So the recommendation under Initiative 3.1 is to undertake that local government energy audit for those facilities that are not currently energy efficient. And a lot of the township's buildings are already energy efficient. Now, the next 3 all kind of go together because it's about energy efficiency outreach. And these items are broken down into 3 separate initiatives: residential energy efficiency outreach, commercial energy efficiency outreach, and energy efficiency outreach to large energy users. So that is providing education to, if we saw in electric vehicles as well as in solar or distributed energy generation, it was to have an outreach campaign to residents about electric vehicles and solar, but also energy efficiency. And this is providing information to residents about BPU programs, utility programs, and how to make their homes more efficient. Also, the same thing goes for commercial facilities. And one thing that the township can do related to large energy users is check with JCP&L, which this is in the plan, on the top 3 energy users. And you want to identify industrial and commercial facilities and reach out to the JCP&L rep, and then look for opportunities to try to assist those entities to reduce their demand and become more energy efficient. So that's strategy 3 related solely to energy efficiency. Strategy 4 is about new construction, development, and the current building sector. So it starts with implementing a green building policy and having a policy that encourages or even requires, it doesn't have to require, but encourages consideration of green building practices for new municipal construction. So for any new buildings, you might want to have a policy that green building measures should be considered for new municipal facilities. This is just about municipal facilities. And then section 4.2 is about constructing new municipal buildings as model green buildings. And this is, if you want to construct a new municipal building, and remind me, I may be wrong in this, I think there's possibility of new municipal construction. I'll have to go back and look in the plan. And in that, it was that might be a green building feature, or there would be green building features in new municipal construction. So that's certainly an opportunity as well. 4.3 is about encouraging benchmarking and commissioning for existing buildings. It's referring to existing commercial buildings, and meaning non-municipal, but outreach to encourage commercial building operators to benchmark and commission or retro commission old equipment to make it more efficient. Section 4.4 is about a green development checklist. this is a great way to, when permits are submitted, to have new construction or even renovations where the municipality provides a green building checklist or a green development checklist and provide this to residents, or to provide this, to contractors and developers. So before they get their permits, they get a green development checklist, they review what some of the programs are and some of the energy efficiency programs through New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, because there are generally new construction as well as retrofit efficiency incentives through the BPU. And after that is conduct outreach targeting new construction in the community. So if there are going to be new developments or there are new plans submitted to the township, you want to encourage those new developments to be more energy efficient and to reduce emissions and to undertake sustainable building practices. So that's strategy 4. Any questions on strategy 4?
Yes, we do have one from the public.
Just one.
Yep.
My question is is more of a statement, actually. I would love to see added in this, it's the same way that you talk about emergency services and non-emergency services, learning more about EVs. I would like our building inspectors and our building department to have more training on building electrification, because they're the ones out in the communities looking at these projects, and being someone who built a full building electrification home, I know that there's room for more education there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, you said more education to
For
inspectors related to what?
to building electrification projects, so that when they come and they look at, for instance, your EV ports and your electric lines that went in, and your battery storage and the things that you're doing, just so they're more familiar with it, because a lot of it's new to them and they haven't had a lot of exposure seeing these kinds of things. So I just think it makes sense that they would have some kind of level of, more, just be available to them to have more information.
Yeah, on electrification, certainly. And I mean, even there are lots of new equipment that is submitted for, permits, and it's lumped in, and it's not necessarily considered that that's different equipment than has been traditionally used when we're dealing with electrification.
Yeah, it's a
Good
lot
point.
for them to keep up with, so I'm just saying we should, as a town, provide that.
Education, absolutely. And there is opportunity to include that as well. Thank you. All right. If there's nothing else on strategy 4, we will move on. So moving on to strategy 6. Strategy 6 is about encouraging and supporting participation by low and moderate income residents and environmental justice communities. So section 6.1 is make community energy planning inclusive. So we want to make sure that the energy plan is posted and made available to your low to moderate income residents, as well as seniors, folks on fixed income, and that they're able to provide any feedback on the energy plan. So after we update the draft of the plan, we want to make sure the township makes this available and provides a mechanism that people can provide any feedback on the energy plan. Next is conduct energy efficiency outreach to low to moderate income residents, and this is coordinated with the other energy efficiency outreach, but we want to make sure we are hitting some of those affordable housing and senior housing, that they are informed of energy efficiency options, because some of the BPU's energy efficiency incentives are targeted directly to help support low to moderate income residents. Next is section 6.3.2, which is supporting e-mobility transit options. And in that section 6.3.2, it's specifically referring to the allowing electric powered transit, like electric buses and shuttles. And this is a good route to go for entertaining, using those alternatives for a shuttle bus or for a electric vehicle, even electric mobility, like making scooters available, having electric vehicle options like EV shuttle bus or carpool service available, and that's section 6.3.2. So, shuttle bus are like senior transportation, great opportunity to explore using electric vehicle instead of strictly gas-powered shuttle. That's section 6.3.2. Section 6.4 is the community solar type subscription program we were talking about in sections 2.10 through 2.12. It's also making those available to low to moderate income residents, and actually the Board of Public Utilities, when the state approves community solar projects, a certain percentage of those projects are actually required to be low to moderate income resident subscribers. So the community solar projects approved in the state of New Jersey are required to have almost 50% be low to moderate income resident subscribers. So we want to make sure that information is provided to your low to moderate income residents. Lastly is conduct energy efficiency outreach to community serving institutions. So we want to make sure that information is available to your faith-based organizations, and that those organizations are advised, faith-based organizations, community organizations, local business associations. We want to make sure information is available. I also mentioned earlier affordable housing owners and managers, both public and private. So we want to make sure that information is out there and available. That takes us through the end of section 6, or strategy 6 rather. Any questions or comments on strategy 6?
We have one from the public.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's fine.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So, is this proposing building a new community solar project that would incorporate Ocean Township, or using existing community solar projects in the area, like Solar Landscape and some of the projects that are already here? So I'm just, because we have, I believe, 5% overburden communities in Ocean Township. It's just 5% of our population, I think. When we did I think 5% when we did the shade tree and the overburden maps, community maps, I think it was like 5% of our residents qualifies overburden community, which is what this is targeted for. So I'm just curious, like what. I'm just wondering. I know how hard it is to get subscribers, especially in those and low income, moderate income communities now in this particular climate. People aren't coming forward, and it was always hard to get people to come forward to trust solar and all of that. But so, are you proposing? Does this propose new development of community solar, and how will you going to get that 50%? Is because that just seems. Is it beyond Ocean Township? Is it multi-town? Because that just seems like unlikely here.
Yeah, I can answer specifically. So, first of all, the project doesn't have to be in the township.
It doesn't even have to be in Monmouth County. It's just anywhere in JCP&L territory. So it just has to be in the electric service territory. So any project that's in community solar, that's a a grid-tied community solar system approved by the BPU, can allow subscribers anywhere in JCP&L territory. So as far as hitting those goals, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's tough getting low to moderate income subscribers. It's a state initiative. It doesn't mean that you need to get 50% of Ocean Township subscribers to be low to moderate income. It's just of the systems that are out there, they have to have a certain percentage that are low to moderate income. Not required for Ocean Township, but just for the project that is, called 10 megawatts, there may be a number of subscribers from Ocean Township as well as subscribers from other towns as well. Did that answer your question
Except for the-
well enough? I can go into.
Except for the question of, is this new, is the township supporting the building of new community solar or using existing community solar in the region, which there is some that exists in the region, so.
Yeah, so it can be both. So you can support new community solar, but the initiative I was just talking about related to section 6.4 as well as section 2.10 relate to making community solar subscriptions available and supported by the township.
Gotcha.
Not necessarily for developing new community solar projects, although in the plan is certainly, the township supports new community solar projects in the township.
So is there a bullet point here or something about, exploring existing community solar, like doing a full survey of community solar in the region to determine whether or not we build or whether we, support building or utilizing existing community solar?
Yeah, so it's broken up into like two separate initiatives in section 2. One of them relates to using existing community solar and making a community solar program available to residents. The other initiative is supporting community solar development within the town. It's not as proactive as going out and looking for new opportunities, but rather supporting community solar that people propose within the township. Or even doing it as an ambassador, saying, hey, there's a parcel of property that, say, was a brownfield that, hasn't been used. That's an opportunity, and then matching them up with a community solar developer. You're welcome. So with the end of strategy 6, that takes us to the end of the overview. Now, the entire energy master plan, which, I will pull back up here. Give me 1 second. Let's see, Chrome, here we go, sorry. Okay, so this goes through, this is showing you sort of in greater detail, how each initiative went through, setting, its prioritization, the length of time it'll take, if there are funding sources, departments involved, potential stakeholders, measures of success, and next steps. So that goes through each initiative. So we did those in summary format, but each initiative has greater detail. So I'll just show you, we were talking about community solar there, your questions. Here are those questions where, we go through each individual area in greater detail relating to community solar as a community solar ambassador, as a community solar outreach coordinator, and hosting a community solar project on municipal property. So that's where it's broken down into separate sections, as well as, next steps in each area. So then, I don't need to go through each initiative again, but I just wanted to give you a little overview of how the plan is organized, and this will be made available for any further comment and then adoption by the township. So I will stop share there. Any other questions on the plan or the planning process?
Seeing none. Anyone at home?
All right.
None.
If not, I also, I am remiss for not doing so earlier. We do have Mylena from Sustainable Jersey here, who, was your project coordinator for Sustainable Jersey. Sustainable Jersey has helped shepherd this entire program. So if you have, any questions related to the planning process or, about Sustainable Jersey or the Board of Public Utilities, I think Mylena can answer some of those questions, but, thank her certainly for being here. Any other questions or comments on the plan or the planning process?
Seeing none.
Okay. So from here, we'll incorporate any comments, provide, another draft, and then, the council can adopt the plan, and then it'll be submitted to the BPU. And I gotta say, this was a very collaborative process with David, his office, as well as Tracy, coordinating a lot of different departments, getting their input. And, it took us, a couple months getting through that work, and then, a couple months drafting the plan and getting to this point. So, excuse me, it's been a very collaborative process, and I just want to thank David and Tracy and everyone from the township for their, input, feedback, and collaboration.
Great. Thank you so much, Ben.
All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Just cue it. Do I have a motion to close our meeting?
I'll move it. Second.
First, Claudette. Second, Brandon. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.
Have the gavel?
Just